another one.
Language for QA automation in 2024. Okay. I am finally burned out on manual testing enough to get around to automation. Sorry. I'm sorry. I should really read these questions before. like, just, I hate to stop it already, but all right, I'll read it. Let me just read it. Let's get through it, all right? I have some experience with automation in Ruby and Java, but all the projects in which I participated already had a ready-made framework, so it was mostly refactoring. Since I'm good at Google and annoying colleagues with questions, didn't have many problems with that. However, I guess that my knowledge is not enough to answer all the tricky interview questions. My dream was to find a company that is ready to grow specialists so I could choose the language specifically for the project, but it's becoming obvious that the market has changed and is full of motivated, ready-made specialists that, or at least it feels that way, and companies now invest much less in growth. I might be wrong though. So this is my war cry from the heart with the question, what language are you currently studying, or what would you study at the moment and how? I recently received advice in one of the posts below about TAU and it seems pretty cool. I'm also thinking about tests on JS, except Java, which is ultra hard for me, and Python. Since I like Postman and it has an internal framework on JS, I will be glad to any comment and advice. So, there we have it, folks. Why was I frustrated at the beginning? Because why does it take you to get burned out on manual testing to start learning automation? Like, I don't get it. Why are we like, for me at least, I'm always thinking about growth and getting better and learning more. And that's why I have I'm pretty much doing software explorations every single day, except for Tuesdays, right? Because even though we're doing the coffee and kite in the morning with the coding challenges, that's still like exploring software, figuring things out, pushing your mind further, right? But we have people who just like to go in and follow a script, not do what's best for them to get in the right position for them to win. And then they blame it on finding a bug, that missing a bug, right? Missing a defect is why they get put on a PIP. Although they agree that they show up to meetings late all the time, that they don't contribute to sprint ceremonies, right? Whichever meeting it is. And to put the icing on top, right? The cherry on top, they're late to meetings. Why don't we do what's best for us, people, right? So, to answer your question, right? Well, before we answer your question, right? Before we answer your question, right? Before we answer, my dream was to find a company that is ready to grow specialists, right? So the companies that are ready to grow specialists, those were a long time ago when the QA field was young. By young, I mean in its early stages, not young in, I guess the QA field is young in age, but not the people were necessarily young, right? But when automation started getting popular, right, companies would be transitioning their manual testers into QA, right? But here's the problem, right? And guess what? If, and I say if, you're able to find a manual testing job, because it is not easy, right? And that's why I always recommend all the people who come to me saying, oh, I took this manual testing boot camp and stuff like that. I don't really know if I really want to do automation. I don't really know code. I'm like, well, if you don't want to do automation, right, it's going to be a long, hard road, because guess what? It's already hard for people who do automation to find positions, right? So now you think you're going to just find some manual testing job? there's probably 1 out of 1,000 manual testing job for the amount of people who want to be manual testers, right? So that's why I say you got to learn the manual testing, right? And still practice those principles because you're going to use it in a job anyways, but you also want to learn how to do automation. Don't get burned out on manual testing before you start learning how to do automation because at that point, you've already failed, right? Start early, start fast, start writing something. And on this channel, right, from the very beginning when I started this channel, what did we do? We started like one of the first videos that I did outside of the selenium wire troubleshooting, right? That was like, I think that might have been the very first one that I did live. But outside of that, what I used to do was one of my very first live streams, I took Java and Python and we automated the same exact side by side, right? I think it was Uber Eats we automated. We had one side, we had other screen, we had Java, one side of the screen we had Python, and we just went through it through Selenium, right? So you need to start, and I made it the most basic that it would be, and the most basic that it would be to automate. So no page object model, no fancy loops or anything like that, right? Just click, click, click. How to choose the right selector, right? Very important. And we went through that, right? Because I wanted to give you that basic intro to show that, get that early win to show that you can do it too, right? That video might not have the nicest quality, all the lighting and all this nice stuff that we have here, but that video is essential so that you can get experience in 2 languages at the same time. Oh, you get a 2-for-1 special. You know, very, very important. So if we look at over here, right? Companies like they did it. They're not obligated to continue to do it for the rest of their existence to like because it costs money. So they said enough people have been trained, so let's hire the ones that are trained. Let's get value immediately. All right. So what languages am I currently studying? I am always studying Java, Python, JavaScript, HTML, CSS. And to add to that, we are going to add now working on Express, working on Docker. As you can see, I always work like Docker makes my life amazing. We are learning about Terraform, and you don't have to learn all those things, right? But you need to like. Here's the thing: I don't know where you live. I'm not even sure what TAU stands for, and here's the thing, right? Because you said TAU, and it seems pretty cool. Stop going after what's cool. Go after what's useful. If you don't take anything from tonight, stop going after what's cool. Go after what is useful. All right. So many times we get, oh, this is cool, this is nice, this is pretty, but it provides absolutely no value, right? Other than some fleeting feeling, right? So to me, what's valuable? Java is valuable. JavaScript is valuable. Python is valuable. Selenium is valuable. Cypress is valuable. Playwright is valuable, right? API testing is valuable. The rest assured library, the request library in Postman, right? You might like Postman, but if you want to get into serious automation where you're integrating the automation tests with your UI tests and doing all types of crazy stuff, you're not going to be sticking to Postman. You're going to be either using one of the JavaScript libraries or Python or Java or whatever, right? Learning about the CI/CD pipeline, learning about Docker, all those things, super, super valuable. And I don't expect you to just take everything on at the same time, but make a plan, research the jobs that you want and see, okay, what is the game plan that I need to do, right? Create a game plan and then attack it, right? And then attack it, all right? So that is my thought on that.
If you enjoyed the fascinating information shared in this video and you want more, be sure to hit the subscribe button to Tech Coach Ralph to be notified for new videos.